Now, on to 13, sadly. This has got a bit scribbled because I did a video a moment ago and got this wrong, which shows you that I need to be paying attention more. This question is worth 3 marks. So that means you need 3 minutes. It deserves 3 minutes of thinking time at least. So if you're uncertain how to do this first time, stick with it for a bit, because it's really worth the marks and it's really worth having some working out marks, because there are quite a few working out marks in this question. Florence is doing a calculation. Her working out is shown below, with 2 numbers blanked, or in this case, horrifically scribbled out. Now, write down the calculation that Florence was doing. So when it says the calculation, it just means fill in the blanks. It's kind of context based anyway. You could work it out that there's 2 blank things. It's probably going to be what we're going to be working out. How do we work it out though? Well, what I'd first do is I'd look about this. So I know 652 is from 306, 3 something 6 times by 2, because this first one is just whatever's been times by 2. So what I could do, there are 2 ways I could do this. Either I could just do 652 divided by 2, right? Because if this number times 2 makes 652, then 652 divided by 2 is just going to give me the answer. So in this case, I do divide this by 2, so that's going to give me, I'm being a bit lazy here and trying to do this in my head, which maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to still do it. It's 326. Or I could look at this one here. I could write it out again as a multiplication like this. Now I know, and then I'd write 652 under here. So I know 2 times 6 is 12. So then I need something that adds to 1 to make 5. Well, what adds to make 1 to make 5? It's 4. So I do 2 times what makes 4? Well, it's going to be 2. So this would be 2. So this would be 4 plus, which should be 5. 2 times 3, 6 by 2. That also works. Oh look, I got the same answer. So 1 mark, I'll write it here, 2, 6, something, 2. Now, the next step I'm going to take is I've got to work out what times is by 326 to make 16,300. Now, how am I going to do that one, you ask? Well, again, I could use the division method if you think about it. I know 326 times something equals 16300. So I could do 16300 divided by 326. But I don't really like to do that because that looks like a pretty messy calculation, really. It's not too bad, actually. The trick would be to doing some sort of multiplication. But I'd much rather something nicer. And in this case, that's going to require me getting some plain paper because I'm running out of space, is to write it out again. So I'm going to write out the multiplication again. If you want to have a go at division, you're very welcome to, but I generally would try and think of a different way. When I do problem solving, it's really good to try and think of more than one way of doing something. So in this case, I'm going to have 326 times something O, because remember, it's something O, equals 16300. Now, there are 2 things I could do. If you notice, because this is O, I could just divide this by 10, divide this by 10, and these 2 will cancel out, right? Because this is 10 times bigger, so whatever this digit is just 10 times bigger. So if I get rid of this 0, it's now 326 times something equals 1630. Then what I need to do is I need to look for something that times by 6 that gives the number 0. So what that means is I need to write out all my 6 times tables to find out what could be the possible answer. And I'm going to do that now. In a flash, I've done them. So now I need to look for a set of numbers that ends in 0, because looking back to this one, 6 times something has a 0 at the end. Well, let's have a look. No. has to be 6 times 5 because it's the only option. So I'm going to put 5 in here, and then I'm going to check it. So I do 6 times 3 is 30. 6 times 5 times 2 is 10. So I'm going to carry the 1. That works. So far we've got this. Carry my 1. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 plus 5 plus 6. So yeah, that works. So then I'd write out my whole answer back on my sheet. 52. And I'd write it on my answer block here as well. So 326 times 52. To be nice and clear, 3 marks, done. And on to multiplying decimals again. Excellent. Now I'm going to do exactly the same as doing before. I'm going to write out the normal multiplication, ignoring my decimals first. So 7 times 6, what does 7 times 6 equal? 42. Then I'm going to get 0.76. I'm going to write it underneath. 0.6 equals something. Now what do I have to do to 7 to get to 0.7? Divide it by 10. What do I have to do to 6 to get to 0.6? Divide that also by 10. So if I divided this side by 10 and then 10 again, then I divide this side by 10 and 10 again. So I could either divide it by 10 twice, or I could work out that dividing by 10 and 10 again is the same as moving down 2 places, or dividing by 100. So then I'm going to divide 42 by 100, so 1, 2 places, so it's going to be 0.42. There we go. So this one will be 0.42. A quick way you can check, not really mathematically very nice, but you know, still quite useful. There's 1 decimal, there's 2 decimals here, so my answer should have 2 decimals. And it does. That doesn't always 100% work, but it largely works. It's not a terrible way of checking. For this one here, dividing decimals, but going back to my original method, I'm going to write 0.6 over, because this just means divide, 0.3. Again, I'm just using the same method as before. This line just means divide, and then I'm going to keep multiplying, because if I do the same to the numerator and the denominator, then the answer is still going to be the same. If I multiply, I'm going to keep multiplying up until I get rid of all my decimals. So I'm going to times by 10, times by 10. So then 0.6 times by 10 is 6, because I move up 1 place. And 0.3 times by 10 is 3, because I move up 1 place. So 6 over 3. What's 6 divided by 3? Because this is what this line means. It is 2. That's a vindiculum. I think it's a vindiculum. I could be wrong on that. But I thought I just mentioned that random fact. So it's 2. And you can think about it logically, right? 0.3. So 1 times 0.3 is 0.3. If I add another one, it's going to be 0.6. So 2 times 0.3 makes 0.6. If I had 30p and I doubled it, I'd get 60p. So it's going to be 2. Oh, look at those awful numbers. This looks like it's going to be a really horrible, hard question. Why is it only 2 marks? Look at that. That's just going to be long, effortful adding. Oh wait, no it's not, because it says the word estimate. Estimate the area of this rectangle. If it says estimate, what does that mean? Well, estimate means rounding. Rounding. So I know I need to round all the numbers in the question to get my answer. Area just means base multiplied by the height of the rectangle. So all I need to do is multiply the rounded numbers from these. It's, as I always say, always worth looking at the wording of the question. Estimate and area are really important. So my first thing, I'm going to round these to one significant figure. What that means is I look at the first number in each number, which isn't 0. So in this case, this is the first one, the 4. I look at the number underneath, which means I'm going to ignore everything else. Remember, you only look at the one number underneath. Everything else doesn't matter. Am I going to round up or am I going to round down? Well, I'm going to round down in this case. So it's going to be 40. Then I'm going to do the same for the 7.608. well, what do I have to do? Do I round up or do I round down? Well, my first thing to figure is 7. The one underneath is 6. Do I round up or do I round down? I round up because 6 is bigger than 5. So this is going to be 8. Really, really good idea to cover up the other ones with your fingers. If you're getting stuck and you keep making the same mistakes, cover with your fingers. And a good quick way to check is each of my answers should only have one number which isn't 0. So in this case, there's a 4 and the rest are zeros. In this case, it's just an 8, so I've done it right. If I round to one significant figure, there should only be one number which isn't 0. So I do 40 times by 8 because it's area, so I'm doing the base, which is approximately 40, the height, which is approximately 8, multiply them together. 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 40, 320. To put the units in for me, always remember, this is an area question, so we need to be thinking about the units. But it's been given for us, so 320, and there's our 2 marks. Whew.